I really appreciate you doing this. I didn't know I'd end up. I've never done this kind of thing before, so
we're putting you out there. So, Gary,
yeah,
just
right.
just remind me what your background is and why we're having this conversation.
Okay, my background is I got into IT in the 60s, System 360, System 370. Before that, I graduated as an engineer. I have a master's degree in applied mathematics. This is from Canada. I'm in Canada, right?
Okay.
So University of Toronto, University of Waterloo. I realize now that whatever degrees I may or may not have, I don't know a damn thing really when you get right down to it, because they don't really teach you anything.
Well, you do know something. You know that you don't know. That's more than most people know.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? So anyway, I got involved with a cult. When I was 15, I used to listen to I was a Cleveland Indians fan. I'm a baseball fan, okay? Used to listen to Cleveland Indians baseball. I guess it was Akron, WAKR, one of those stations anyway. I used to listen to the Indians, Bob Feller, Bob Lemon. I don't know whether any of those names mean anything to you.
Ringing a bell. Yeah.
You're younger than I am.
Yeah.
So I used to listen to that. But then I started hearing this guy called Herbert W. Armstrong. Garner Ted Armstrong. Is that?
Not ringing a bell.
They had an organization in California that was basically geared to preaching the gospel to all the world as the witness, and then Jesus Christ will come back, kill all the bad people, and the good people will reign on the earth for 1,000 years in the millennium, right? So I got involved with that after I graduated from university in and I got a teacher's certificate too, which was really good in my later life. I went to California in 1964. I stayed there till 1976, when I finally woke up and realized how many things were wrong with what I believed. Came back to Toronto, and I've been here ever since. I married a lady down there. I had 4 children. We were later divorced in 1980. I am with a lady now who has Alzheimer's and is in a nursing home. She can't talk. I think she knows me, but I can't get in because I'm not vaccinated. So I have to look at her. So I have to look at her through a window outside, a fucking plate glass window outside of her. They wheel her into the hall. She's in there. If she's awake, I'm lucky. If she's not awake, not much I can do about it.
Wow.
So that's where I am right now. I'm 82 this year. They say I don't look 82. Kids always used to ask me, "How old are you, sir?" And I wouldn't tell them, but well, how old do you think I am? I was still teaching up till 2016. When my wife got so bad, I had to look after her full time, and I couldn't really leave her, so I had to stop teaching. So I was still teaching at 76 at a college in Toronto. So that's where I am.
Okay.
Where did I first find out about flat Earth? Better question is, I have something here. I don't know whether you can see it.
It's it.
Called a geocentric primer. After I left this church, I got involved with somebody who was teaching geocentrism. So I've been a geocentrist since about 1970. So I always believed that the Earth was at rest. I used to think about, what if I go up in the air in a balloon and I just stay there? California will be by in about 2 hours. I can just go back down and there's California. Never worked though, but that was my initial thoughts about that kind of thing. I first got into the flat Earth thing with the internet, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I have about 10 books on it. Debate. I've got some guy named Gregory Garrett. Are you familiar with him?
No, I don't. It's a good book.
It's not bad. I'll show you the books I have later if you're interested.
Send me an email with a link to the books, and if they're good, I'll add them to the app and the book section. I'm always looking for more flat Earth material. So
I think Dubé is probably one of the better ones.
Okay,
if not the best.
His books are already in there.
Yeah.
Have you gotten Edward Hendry's book, The Greatest Lie on Earth?
That was the first one I got
Yeah.
in the flat Earth configuration. That was about 4 years ago. But I found out he's really into the same kind of bullshit. Frankly, sorry, may I say bullshit?
You may.
That I got involved with in the church that I left. So I didn't want to go through that again. So I read.
Let me just make a comment on that. His flat Earth information is rock solid, right, in both of our camps. But
Yes.
he has another belief that you call bullshit. That's okay. Separate it. Take the good, leave what you don't agree with. Take the good, leave what you don't agree with.
Most people can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I think all flat earthers can do that, because when you become a flat earther, you defy what they taught you in school, which is you only use 10% of your brain. You actually use all of your brain. You use the creativity and your imagination and your connection to nature and your ability to see the good in humanity. And I think flat earthers are way, way, way more intelligent than the people that are in that 10% slave mentality. So that's my opinion.
No, I think you're right. And in fact, I think we're really we're not conspirators. But we tend to be able to look at conspiracies that are so-called conspiracies, which some people, when you use the word conspiracy, all it means is a couple of people got together and decided to do something.
2 or more people get together to conspire for their own benefit. We are conspiracy analysts.
Absolutely. That's one of the jobs I had when I was in IT. I was a systems analyst. So I've always been. I'm a what do you call it? A contrarian.
Okay.
Aren't we? We're all contrarians, right? We think it's yes. we think these people are selling us a bunch of crap, which is certainly going on.
We know they're selling us a bunch of crap.
Yes, sir. We do. So I'm a Canadian, but I'm really a kind of an American too, because I lived there for 15 years. And up here in Canada right now, it's like it's a tyrannical environment. The prime minister is a commie. His father was a commie, Trudeau.
Yep.
And I think I have a lot of hope for the U.S. I listen to people like X22, LT, people like that.
I wish those guys would get on board with the flat Earth, because it would really help them.
Dustin Nemo, that was the other day. The other day, which got me to contact you a bit, was that horrible interview, that discussion you had with Professor Dave.
Not Professor Dave, yes.
Yeah, so-called Professor Dave.
Yeah.
I was a professor. They called me professor, but
yeah.
I know it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Anyway, I was absolutely, and the comments after it, because it's obviously his stuff, right?
Well,
he was vicious to you. I thought he can disagree with you, but he was vicious, and the way he handled you, I thought was terrible. I couldn't even watch more than about 20 minutes of it.
Well, the thing is, that's all that the Globers have. If he had a rational conversation with me, I would have been able to bring some points across that he wouldn't have been able to answer. So he only can resort to ad hominems and straw man arguments and snarkiness, and weak minds will follow that. But here's the thing. He has 2 million subs, close to 2 million subs. 0 of them showed up in the chat. What does that tell you? That they're all bots. They're all paid for. They're all, a very small percentage of his subs are real people. And,
right.
and you can tell this because the ones that came over to my channel afterwards to comment, they were organized. They all had the same message. Why are you not sharing this? Are you afraid? Are you embarrassed? The same message. I was like, wow, how did they all get the same message? And then I would check all of their channels, and I call those the 100% Globe proof channels, because they have 0 content and 0 subscribers, because that's all of the Globe proofs that there are. So again, Google didn't take Sean Atwood's original and push it to the top. Dave's, you search Flat Earth today, it's the #1 hit, right? And so they think, the Globers, here's what's happening. The Globe side thinks that they destroyed me. He even titled it, Dave Weiss, DITRH gets destroyed live by Professor Dave or whatever. It's got 500,000 views already. And I can't tell you, I can't even respond to all of them. So many people, like, the email comes over and says, I'm not a flat earther, but I saw the Professor Dave interview. what the hell's going on? Why did that guy act like that? What's going on? Now it's got me questioning the flat earth, and I would send them a link to a playlist. And if anyone clicks on that playlist and watches it, they're toast. They're over. It's finished. You know, I always say you can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think. Like I can tell somebody the earth is flat, but unless they think about it and actually take the time to look, they're going to just laugh. And that's where many, many people are. But the Professor Dave interview, I am so blessed that YouTube has it at the #1 hit, because anyone that doesn't know about flat earth, they Google flat earth. That's the worst thing to do, because you just get propaganda. But the #1 hit they get is me and Professor Dave. And if they have a brain and they can actually think rationally, they're going to be emailing me going, what the hell's going on? Maybe I should look into this. This guy's a complete and total tool. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So you know that's the #1 hit?
Go search right now. Go on YouTube and search flat earth, and you get all propaganda when you do that. But the #1 hit, it's been varied in 1 and 2, but the #1 hit is that video, which is fantastic. Sure. Right? Because normally they have the mainstream media hit pieces. They have, you know, the anti-flat earth group up there. They have Skyman Dan, who actually we call him Strawman Dan now. And it's all nonsense, right? Because the worst thing you could tell someone that's looking into flat earth to do is go research flat earth. Go search. You search flat earth, you might as well just, like, you know, you're going to get 500 hours of garbage before you find one good thing. Right now, the algorithm thinks that Dave's interview with me is a good thing. It's a good thing for flat earth, that's for sure. That's
great, Dave. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad some good came out of it. I was just so pissed at.
It's he's so disgusting, so disgusting. Oh. I have a video premiering tonight on my Flat Earth Dave's interview channel. I think 7 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there. And they made a great comment about, they're from Hungary, these guys. And they made a great comment about what would happen to Professor Dave if he spoke to somebody in their country like that. It's very funny. It's right at the beginning of the interview. So,
well, it's good that you're together with Dustin. My girlfriend and I listen to Dustin a lot. She contributes to him.
Who's Dustin? I'm sorry,
Dustin Nemos.
I did a show with Dustin Nemos.
Yeah.
All right, I've done so many shows I can't keep track of who's who. Sorry.
Okay. yeah. He's pretty big in the underground anti the other, you know, liberal, anti-Biden, all that, all that kind of stuff. You don't know.
I do 10 to 20 interviews a week. Okay, so I'm all over the place. And if I forget someone's name, forgive me. But as soon as I see the video, I'm like, oh, that person, they were awesome. So no offense, Dustin. There's a lot of I can't remember everybody.
I'm glad you got together with him, and you also did SGT, the S guy at SGT.
Sean
right?
Sean at SGT. Yeah. I've been on 3 or 4 times. Sean and I are tight.
You're tight. Anybody else in that world?
Well, SGT Veritas Radio with Mel Hasselreck. That he's one of my favorite shows out there. Crow 777 Radio, greatest podcast ever. I think all colleges in the world should shut down and just send your kids to Crow. It's $8 a month.
I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that 53 when I was looking for it yesterday.
053. You got to go. If you go just to crow777radio.com, and there's two R's in Crow, and then just search New Cokes or 053, and it'll come right up. Just go back. They're all in order.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them, but I didn't pursue it any further. Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay. One of the things I wanted to ask you that this bothered me for a long time is this whole thing, and I know I've heard some explanations. The whole thing about satellites and things like DirecTV, where I used to have a satellite dish up here. We didn't used to have so-called satellite TV in Canada until maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Before that, there was a gray thing. A lot of us got bogus, not bogus, but things that you had, sets that you could get the U.S. signal and put up a dish, and and you could get DirecTV or whatever the hell the other ones were. And then when I got Bell, which is the Canadian company, they got their dish, and I had to get satellite because there's no cable where I am. But I always remember tuning in, laying it up. You couldn't get the signal, then you get the signal. So is that signal coming basically from a coaxial landline?
So let me understand what you're saying. So back in the 80s, back a long time ago, my father, for many years, lived in a little island south of Puerto Rico called Vieques. And there's no cable or anything out there. And they had a giant, like 15-foot wide dish on their roof that you can turn. It would turn.
Yes.
Right. And there was 7 or 10 or whatever satellites that you can turn it to. And so it'll turn, it'll come, and then you get like 20 channels on there. And some of the channels on there were sidetrack were like raw news feeds going to the networks and stuff. Like you can get like raw footage that they're transmitting for editing for tonight's news show. Right.
Yes.
You get all sorts of stuff. And so it would turn, and it was locking onto a satellite. And I'm like, wow, how's that satellite staying up there, falling around the Earth? We're corkscrewing through the universe, speeding up and slowing down, traveling in 4 different directions at once. And somehow that satellite mirrors us. It's completely retarded. Okay.
Exactly.
So the question is, what signal are we getting? And the answer is, this is above my pay grade, but we're talking to many people, and they say, they always talk about bouncing off the ionosphere, bouncing a signal off the ionosphere. That's how they can go so far. Well, the ionosphere is just another word for the dome, in my opinion. And perhaps, they got a signal, and, if you, and they tune us, okay, you're at this latitude and longitude, 2 dimensions. Why do we have a 2-dimensional coordinate system on a 3-dimensional Earth? And it says, all right, they set the satellite, go here, because if you bounce off the dome like that, you can get to the main antenna, right? And then somebody 50 miles that way, they'd have to adjust it just a little farther to hit that same spot to get that bounce to the main antenna. So the main antenna is shooting a signal up, and you have to get it bouncing off of the dome. That's my explanation. It's actually testable. And you can bounce signals like that. And then there was a NASA whistleblower that talked about if they hit the dome, I think it was with a laser or a microwave or something, that the dome, whatever it's made of, would energize and stay energized for like a very long time, weeks, months, years. I forget what it was, but it was like a very long time. And they could put a signal into that, and then you can aim a dish at it. So are they bouncing things off the firmament? Are they energizing the firmament to with a signal? Are they plugging something physical, to hang from the firmament? I don't think that's the case. But all of these are way better explanations than saying that we're spinning and orbiting and going through the universe in all these different directions, and somehow satellites can follow all of these motions.
Yeah, right? That's insane.
It's absolute insanity.
Now, maybe flat Earth maybe flat Earth makes more sense if you had something just up there, wherever that is, like the firmament, and you basically relate to that. It's not moving. The Earth isn't moving.
I mean, think about this. I'm sending a signal up and to the firmament, and it's bouncing. You can just aim a dish at it, right? There's another antenna going over there, another antenna shooting a signal over there, and you turn your dish and you tune in to these signals.
Sure.
Imagine a big mirror over your head, and you have ground stations shooting laser beams up, okay, to put a dot on the firmament. You aim your camera lens at it. I got that one. I got that one. I got that one. And you get your signal. It makes perfect sense to me. Maybe I don't understand properly, but this is insanity. Oops, not that.
Yeah, but that is insanity. No question about it.
This is insanity. That's going on, and all of these satellites are just going around there. Where are the pictures of the satellites? Right? Google photos of satellite in space. There are none. There's none. There's only cartoons.
Yeah, if you look up there with a telescope, it should be all clouded with these satellites, right? Blocking our view.
Well, I don't think it's blocking our view. I mean, because that argument, it's a good argument and it's a bad argument, because that's like saying, if you in the state of Connecticut, there's 20 or 30 grains of sand over, over your head. Will you see them? Space is big if they're telling us what they're doing what's going on. But if you looked at where the satellites are supposed to be, they're like grains of sand, miles and miles and miles apart from each other. So would you actually see them? But being on the space station, being on, the shuttle or whatever, you would see satellites, you would be able to photograph it, but we don't get any photographs from space. If you go on, do you have my app? You have my app?
Just a second. I'll get my phone.
No, you don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. Come back.
Okay, good.
Come back.
Yep.
So on the app, if you go into the more resources page, which is this one, and you go to the satellite live, this is what NASA wants you to believe is going on. So I just click that, and they want you to believe, I'm moving it around with my finger, right? I can move it. They want you to believe that they're tracking all of these objects.
Sure.
This is ridiculous. This is insanity. They can't track one plane flying over the Southern Ocean, in absolute insanity. Hold on. There's another one, which is even worse. Orbit tracker. So they want you to believe that they're tracking all of these objects, right? All of these objects are crisscrossing, right? All of these objects. Now, not only are they tracking that, I'm going to turn on the debris button. They want you to know that they're tracking every single one of these.
Sure.
All of these purple things are debris. Okay? And NASA's tracking this. Okay? That alone tells you this is all a lie.
Yeah.
Look at this garbage. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolute insanity. Turn that off. Back. I mean.
Sure.
So did I answer your question?
Yes.
All right.
Well, another one is longitude and latitude on a flat Earth. Longitude, yeah. Now, how does that work? How does GPS? You got GPS in your car. You put in the address, and magically out comes our destination, and it leads you down the road and all that shit.
Yeah. So anywhere in civilization where you have land and civilization, there's GPS. When you go over the Amazon jungle, there is no GPS. In the Southern Ocean, there's no GPS. Going from California to Hawaii, there's no GPS. Why is that? Okay. Now, we know that NASA's putting up tens of thousands of balloons with satellites hanging off of them. We know about the AWACS planes that are kind of flying GPS. So is some of the GPS coming from these floating things? Maybe. But there's none. You track an airplane leaving Santiago going to Europe. As soon as it's 100 miles offshore, it goes into approximation mode. There's no tracking. There's no GPS. GPS is the old Loran system. Remember Loran?
Yeah.
And it's a tower-based system. I remember using Loran as a kid on our boats, and then all of a sudden GPS came out. All they did was
change the name.
They changed the name, and they put photographs, from airplanes of the Earth all stitched together, coordinated it up. Hey, you're here. It's pretty damn accurate. But when you go out of range, you're done. Like when I would fly to Puerto Rico, the direct TV coverage would turn off. And they say it's because of contractual agreements that you're not allowed to use it outside the United States. No, because there's no signal. The signal's coming from the ground. Okay. So, and then also we use an XY coordinate system, latitude and longitude. Okay. For a ball, where's the Z-axis? There should be some Z-axis, right? XY, that's a flat Earth plane, right? We know that the flat Earth has ups and downs, has hills and valleys and mountains and trenches and canyons, but it's a flat grid, longitude and latitude.
So where does okay, so I'm in Stouffville and I'm 49 degrees west longitude and 53 degrees east latitude or whatever the hell. What does that mean on a what do those numbers mean on a flat Earth grid?
So I will show you.
Yeah, if you got something like that,
Yeah.
I never found in any of the books I have anybody that discussed longitude and latitude.
There's some videos on do I have a button on about maps? I think I have a button on maps on the app. I got to check. But you have your longitude and your latitude. With the latitude are the circles and the longitude are the straight lines, and it's just a coordinate system. That's where you are. Now, there's swaths of ocean. Like if you took this and wrap it around a ball like this,
yeah,
right, which is what they did. They wrapped it around a ball. Well, these areas are going to get smaller. They get squashed together. So there's huge swaths of Southern Ocean that don't exist. Okay. So because of that, you remember the Malaysia flights that disappeared. I believe that they made a run for it and they were going to the outer lands and they got away. Like if you go to the Maldives, where are the Maldives? They're somewhere over here. On the equator, right? There's areas of ocean. Well, forget the Maldives. There's areas of oceans like out here where GPS will say, all right, you're on this GPS line going this way. Or if you're over here, they'd say, no, that GPS line is going this way. And then there's a huge pizza slice missing. And if you go into that in a boat or an airplane, you're off GPS. You're off the maps. You're in uncharted waters. There could be massive islands out here, massive islands that nobody can ever see because unless you fly blind and don't pay attention to GPS or your compass, you will never go in those areas.
Right. Are you familiar, Dave? Are you familiar? I was trying to find it this morning so I could tell you about it if you didn't know about it. I'm sure you do. The view of the moon being a mirror of the physiognomy of the Earth, and the guy can actually says he can pick out the continents in the bottom left. If you think bottom southeast, you can see. Yeah.
So here it is. It's the Iwaranon. So on the app under the Lost History of Flat Earth, that's the Iwaranon link I have. And the first video is 5 hours long, and it goes over this map. And it's very interesting. I see a little of, I think, I don't see exactly what they see, but there are so many coincidences. It does make me very interested. Okay. And it has our North Pole is right here. And our North Pole goes around this circle every great year, which is like 26,000 years. Right. So every 2,160 years, it moves 15 degrees. Okay. Maybe it's going this way. I'm not sure which way it's going. So we live here. Our sun melts out this area. In 12,000 years, our sun will be over here. So this was where our puddle will be. And this will be an ice age. It explains a lot of things. You look at the Prague clock, that famous clock in Prague, it's showing this, okay? It's showing this greater Earth. Now, my one explanation for why the continents don't look exactly like what we think they look like, and again, we don't know what they look like, is maybe it has to do with water levels. Maybe the water levels are higher or lower, and it's completely changed the shape of the land, right? If the water was, maybe this was a view of the Earth prior to the mud floods and it filled in other areas, right? It is very interesting. Again, the Iwaranon videos are well put together research. I don't agree with everything. I'd say I'm 90% on his stuff. Okay. Again, take the good, leave the bad, and know that we don't know the answers and explore. I'm a big fan of there's more land beyond Antarctica. Maybe there's other puddles, right? Puddle theory. Did you see my last video showing all the other lands? I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm saying that we should have the ability to go look, right? Antarctica is off limits. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. They should, if somebody has the money and can build an airship or whatever, they should be allowed to go. But the elite will never allow us because, Gary, that once you wake up to flat Earth, you unplug from the heliocentric matrix. And that's how they control us. They put our minds in a globe. There's nothing else to discover, Truman. It's all been discovered, right? They put our minds in the heliocentric system, which separates you from the creator, makes everything limited, makes everything scary, disconnects you from nature, disconnects you from your intuition, disconnects you from everything that makes you human. And then their goal is to turn us into slaves. And we are. There's so many slaves out there that can't see. But when you see the truth, if they let us go to Antarctica and film and show the whole world, their entire power system falls apart. It's over, right? Yeah. All of the elite are finished. The elite have no power. No human has authority over any other human, okay? That's made up man nonsense, right? But everybody believes it. The only control they have over you is in your imagination, right? But you're like, well, they got me here. I can't go see my wife. These are made up rules, and you have other slaves enforcing them, right? So do they have control over you? Well, they're putting you in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Right? But do they have the right to do that? No. They don't.
But
right?
we give them the power to do it to us.
We do, but imagine the people at the nursing home watch this video, and they all of a sudden they're like, "Wow, that's amazing!" Boom, they all woke up. They're like, "Yeah, come on in. Screw this, this CV nonsense. Screw the boogeyman." And then it's over. What are they going to do? What are they all going to be put in jail? I mean, if everybody woke up and said, "No, we're not buying this. We're all humanity is humanity. We're all together." It's over. They're finished. They're done. That's what they're afraid of.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want us to be afraid. They want us to be in fear, in lack, in depowered, that we're in the middle of nothing. We're an insignificant speck. That's what they want. They want us to think that the creativity part of your brain, the connection to nature, that's none of that's important. That's the only thing that's important. Okay, your imagination, right? Your imagination creates your world, right?
Right.
So this whole situation we're in is because people fell for it. People just fell for it, right? You and I, we never put a shame muzzle on. We didn't get the jabadoo. We didn't do any of that, and we're still here. Something's going on.
That's right. Another question. I have a real problem when any of you, when you, not picking on you, but anybody in the flat Earth community that tries to explain eclipses, seasons, movements of the sun and moon, I don't know. My brain, and generally people go over it so quickly, I don't have a chance to digest it.
Let's talk about seasons. Really easy, okay? So you and I come up to Canada, all right? I sneak in on a private plane because I'm not jabbed. And we go out, and it's the middle of the winter, and we're sitting out in a field, and it's snow on the ground. Our drinks have frozen. It just sucks. But we're sitting out there for some reason anyway. And we're 20 feet apart, okay? We're 20 feet apart, okay?
Yep.
So you're here, and I'm here, okay? And then Jaron happens to show up. He snuck in on a private plane, too, because he's not vaccinated. And he gets a heat lamp, and he gets it on a pole and holds it 15 feet over your head. So you're here, and he puts a heat lamp directly above you. Nice big propane heat lamp. And it's throwing some heat down, and you're like, I'm warm. It's good. And all the snow starts melting around you. Okay? You with me? Making sense?
Yeah, I was seeing you do that with Dustin.
Yeah.
And it didn't get through my head. But
so let's finish. So I say, point to the heat lamp, which we'll call the sun. Point to it, and you're going to point straight up. It's right up. It's right above me. And then someone says to me, I'm 20 feet away, point to that heat lamp. So you're pointing to it at 90 degrees. And I look at it, I'm like, no, it's kind of like at 45 degrees because it's over there, right?
Huh?
It's at 45 degrees. All right. And I can't really feel the heat. I can see it, but I'm cold. I feel a little heat, maybe, but I'm still freezing. My drink's still frozen. Yours is defrosted. All right. So Jaron then decides to walk over to me. He keeps it at 15 feet. And what do I see? I see this heat lamp that's down here. I'm trying to get in the camera here. And as it comes to me, it appears to rise just due to perspective, right? He's keeping it at 15 feet. So it's there. I'm following it. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And now it's 90 degrees above me. I could feel the heat.
Okay, so he's still at 15 feet.
He's still at 15 feet, right?
He's just rotating it, right?
He just walked over to me, keeping it at the same height the whole way, right? Now, so I'm 20 feet off to the side. He's holding it above me. Point at the heat lamp right now. Point at the heat lamp. He's off to your left. Okay, point. Take your arm and point. It's over there, right? Yeah, it's there. It's not up there. It's lower in the sky. But even though it's still 15 feet off the ground. I found this on the web. Right? You understand what I'm saying? 15 feet. Okay, if the lamp, the sun, we'll just call it a lamp for now, is directly over you, it's 90 degrees above you. Okay?
Yes.
It's 90 degrees above you. But if I moved it over here, it's now not directly above me. It looks lower in the sky. If I move it farther over, it's now over there. Look at my finger. I'm not pointing up. Before it was up there. Now it's over here.
Okay.
And as I move it across, it gets higher and higher. Right?
Okay. The ball, the sun is 15 feet high.
It stays the same height all the way across.
Okay. And you're still 10 feet from the other guy.
So forget the other guy right now. Look, here's the sun. Here's the sun. And my finger's pointing up at 90 degrees. So that's as high. It's at my zenith. As it moves over, it's now at 45 degrees. As it moves over, it's getting lower and lower. Okay, but it's still the same height. Okay, so as he walks over to me, it gets higher and higher, but you see it get lower and lower because it's getting farther away. Now it's over me. That's my summer sun. I feel the heat. You look at it, go, I don't feel the heat. I'm cold. My drink refroze. And I'm like, mine melted. Okay. No. Now let's look at it on the app. Okay. So the Tropic of Cancer is the inner yellow line. The Tropic of Capricorn is the outer yellow line. So the sun goes around and around. Let me jump forward to June. So in June, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. That's as close as it gets to us. Okay. In June, on June 21st, that's the closest it's going to get. At noon, the sun is not ever directly above you. It's kind of over there a little bit because it's not directly above you.
Right.
It only goes directly above people that are in the tropics, in between the tropics. We're in the Arctic area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 months later, so it's coming around, the inner north is having its summer. The people that are directly under it, like in Florida, you ever been to Miami?
Yes.
No? All right. In June in Miami, it's friggin' hot. You know why? Because the sun goes directly over Miami. Here it comes, right? It goes right over Miami, the Keys. It's really hot because the sun is directly over. It's still warm in Canada, but not as warm as it is in Miami. But it's cold in Santiago. It's colder in Australia. 6 months later, right? Jaron walks the sun over to the Tropic of Capricorn. It's now too far from us. Everything freezes. Australia has their summer because the sun goes right over Australia, right? The sun, when it comes around, is so far from us, it's lower in the sky. It's so far from Alaska and Norway that they can't even see it. It's so low, it gets eclipsed by the atmospheric deck of opacity, okay? You have to remember, there's 3 layers. You got the Earth layer, you got the atmosphere layer, and then you have the celestial layer. So if you go out on a night where the clouds, not during the day, the clouds are scattered cumulus clouds, and you can see that they're all sitting on a deck. The ones above you are 5,000, 10,000 feet above you, but if you look 20, 30 miles away over the water, they're literally touching the water, right? The whole atmospheric deck gets compressed into what we call a horizon, right? So now you have this horizon, which is at your eye level, but it's really not. It's 5,000 or 10,000 feet above you, but it looks like it's at your eye level. So here's
Sure.
your atmospheric deck, and the celestial object just goes away. And when you're in Alaska, it can't see the sun because it's too far away. Only when it gets closer can you see the sun.
What does Professor Dave do with seasons?
He doesn't address them. I tried to explain this to him, and he goes, I don't understand what you're talking about. You're a moron. You know, that's all he has. That's all they have. He will not address this issue. Here's an issue. Okay. So you understand how the seasons work, right? Like if this is the north is here, you know, that's our summer. Well, it's cold in the south because the sun is directly above us, but it's at an angle. It's farther away. When it moves over, it's directly above, and it's farther away, lower in the sky due to perspective. Okay.
Sure.
So the problem is when the sun is directly above you. So here in the north, in the heliocentric model, the sun is farther from us in the summer and closer to us in the winter.
Right.
They say that doesn't matter because it's only a few percentage. They want their cake and eat it too. The problem is 90 degrees above me, it's hot, it's summer, right? But here in June, when the sun appears on the horizon, that is the most tilted it could be. It's literally on the horizon. So it's an 89-degree tilt. As soon as it shows up, I can feel the heat on my face. I can get a tan, and I'm warm, right? It's 3.5 million miles. It's the farthest tilt away possible, which goes against heliocentrism. But then in December 21st, at solar noon, when the sun is as high as it can be in the sky, a much more direct angle, I could look at the sun. I can't feel it. I don't get a tan. There's no heat coming from it, very little heat, right? And it's 3.5 million miles closer. They will not address that. And if they do, it's garbage. It's just absolute nonsense.
Until flat Earth, I mean, I graduated in engineering physics. Physics was my major, right?
Yep.
I was never had a subject that talked about the globe or globe Earth.
Right.
That goes back to 1950s. Okay.
Right.
Never had a course in it. Never had any education whatsoever in the Earth system. I've had more knowledge of the Earth system globally since flat Earth than I ever had before.
So I was talking to somebody who was a couple of years older than you. They said in the late 50s and early 60s, they were taught flat Earth and globe Earth in school. And then all of a sudden, flat Earth was removed like it never existed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So seasons. Have you hit the seasons button yet?
No,
in the FAQ section, you got seasons, and here's a whole bunch of videos. Okay, not too many. Watch these videos. They'll explain what I explained again. Repetition. People explain it different ways. You watch this. This is totally going to click for you. And then anytime you hear that, oh, we're just tilted away, and that's nonsense. It's absolute and total nonsense. So
I haven't really used your phone the way I should. I used it yesterday. I was trying to find somebody in my area who might be a flat earther. I couldn't find anybody who gave their information. No
one filled out their profile, but you can message them. Right?
Yeah, I know. I did one guy. His name is Kevin Ryan, and he said he had an interview with you in March. Oh. I emailed. I found his email, and I sent him an email, and I sent him a message online there. But it was in March, so maybe the guy gave up. Nobody contacted him, and maybe whatever. But this guy, I could not. This guy he understands everything about everything.
So you successfully contacted somebody and are communicating with them.
I think I contacted him, but I haven't communicated with him.
Okay, well, you reached out to him. I
reached out.
So on here, all the ones that have little heads in them, those are the people that have filled out profiles. More and more people are filling out profiles. A lot of people don't even know that the profile exists. It's right here. You can fill it out. You need to be a subscriber, $11 a year. If you can't be a subscriber, don't worry about it.
Which I am.
And then you know how to do a group message too, right?
Yes, there are those on there too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're doing a meetup, pick 50 kilometers. But if you're looking for some local people, hit 10 kilometers, right? I hit save, so that's close. Anyone can meet you for a cup of coffee, 10 kilometers. And then you hit the button that was right here, and I could send a message to 29 people. Hey, this is Dave, flat earther since 2016. I'm going to be going to Joe's Bar and Grill at 125 Main Street. Come down, meet me for a drink. Meet me for a pizza, whatever. And people will show up.
Okay, good. I did belong to an organization that was involved with the chemtrails.
Oh,
and we stood on street corners in Toronto and handed out leaflets and all that. That was before my wife was really getting bad with Alzheimer's. She was there too.
You were with a anti-chemtrailing, protesting.
Protesting, yes.
Okay, yeah. Gary, back up a little bit. You're a little too close to the camera.
Okay.
Hey, there you go. We can hear you from back there. All right.
So we did that, and that's the only other activity I've had in this kind of realm. But this is great. This is really great to be able to talk to you.
What other questions do you have? You should have a lot.
No, I've covered a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got I'm not ignorant, but I'll tell you the main problem I have.
Go.
With all of this. Not with flat Earth per se, but with people. So there's so many people who say they're Christians out there, and religion is another area that I'm very much into and getting more understanding of. And I think division or religion is basically something that causes division.
Good.
Okay, so I've got a friend in Australia, and we've been talking for 10 years. Nice guy. He treats me like I'm his brother. He's younger than I am, but he keeps on bringing up about Christ returning to solve all of our problems. I don't vote. I don't believe in voting, he says. I believe. I said, you need to get out there and demonstrate and tell people what you believe and whatever. No, sit back, wait for Christ to come back, whatever. There are too many people who are good people who have that attitude and won't do anything because they think they're going to be saved by somebody from outer space, but they're not going to be. Sorry.
The way I look at it is we're all part of what I call Christ consciousness. Okay. Yes. And that's not a new agey thing. It's, and I'm not a Bible guy. There's lots of great information in the Bible and the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita or whatever. There's great information out there, and everybody whatever you want to use to find your connection to the Creator, that's great. Don't force it upon other people. There's people like Rob Skiba, who passed away, as you know. There's a whole bunch of Christian people, my co-host Matt Long, that they have their belief, they set an example of how to behave, and they don't push it upon anybody. Anyone that says you're going to hell unless you accept Christ, you're banned for life. You're banned. Because Get off my channel. Okay.
Yeah.
The effed up world. I don't know if you ever follow him. He's it's effed up world, EFTUP world, and he's been relating all of the SpaceX and rocket launches. He's been showing how they're all symbolism for Bible stuff. Very interesting stuff, right? The seven-headed dragon, whether they're just casting spells or whatever. But again, he's a super strong Christian, but he never pushes it on people. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm okay with anybody being whatever they want to be. Just don't let it interfere with anyone else. If you want somebody to follow your way, just set a good example. And if they follow you, that's fine. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I love to see people embrace. I have a friend who's older than I. He's 85. He's a pilot. He's in great shape. He's never worn a mask. He says he lives in Uxbridge, north of me. He's never worn a mask. He walks into the place and they don't dare say anything to him. But he flies. He's flown airplanes. I tried to tell him a little bit about flat Earth and the problem of an airplane having to maintain 30,000 feet, for example. You can't maintain 30,000 feet without continually turning the airplane.
Right, nosing down.
He wouldn't buy that. He wouldn't buy it. That's ridiculous. That's idiotic. Typical.
Yeah. Yeah.
We share our views about Biden and Trump and what the New World Order and all. We buy all that stuff. But
so one thing you want to send him is if you go into the more resources page. Hold on. You go to more resources, which is the web button, and where is it? Oh, right here it moved. Flat Earth movies, and up comes a whole list of great movies. But the second one down, right after the next level preview, is Flatten the Curve, which is a bunch of military whistleblowers talking about how their equipment only works on a flat Earth. Pilots, Navy people. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and then maybe send it to your friend.
Okay, maybe do that.
Yeah.
As far as having any other questions, I really don't. I know I should have, but I really don't. I was trying to prepare for this a little bit this morning, and it's just such a broad subject. There's so many things to talk about. I mean, what Flat Earth has brought out, it's a way of looking at everything in the world.
Absolutely. And Flat Earthers, the one thing we all know is we don't live on a spinning ball. And the other thing that we know is we don't know a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Globers think they know everything. Let me ask you a question. And I know the answer already because no one has given a different answer. Since you became a Flat Earther, have you ever had a moment of boredom?
That's for sure. No.
No, none. Because think about this. Boredom and fear are the mind killers. Well, they're boring the crap out of us in school, keeping us in fear. I used to have to crawl under a desk for nuclear bomb tests, right? Do you remember that? Yeah. Duck and cover, right? All of this is nonsense, right? So Flat Earthers are never bored. We're always learning. We're expanding our minds. We're using all of our minds. We understand that there is a creator. That's your personal journey. Everything past that statement. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. Right.
Yep.
And we know that nobody has authority over us. So we unplugged from the matrix. The matrix is the heliocentric system. And the place is amazing. I say, look at Neo at the beginning of the matrix. He's plugged in. He thinks something's wrong with the world. He's depressed. Look at Neo at the end of the matrix. Forget about the condition of the world. The world's a mess, but he is taking his power back. None of that matters because he's taken back his power. And that's what we all need to do. We can recreate paradise in a snap of a finger if everybody used their minds properly.
Absolutely true. The other thing, there is one other thing, and it fits in with Flat Earth very much, and that's the atomic theory. The atomic theory has a center part, neutron.
Yeah.
Damn. You have neutrons, you have protons, you have electrons, all orbiting around a central part of an atom.
Have you ever seen one?
No, I don't believe. See, I was a graduate in physics. Okay. A few years ago, I was teaching math at a college in Toronto, and they needed somebody to teach physics. This was an introductory first-year course in physics for biology and chemistry majors. So I had this textbooks to deal with, and as I taught, there were certain things that I knew that were not in the textbook, and I'd throw them out. And then you get into things like electricity, gravity, whatever else there was. And the textbook admitted, we don't really know. We don't really know how this works. We don't really know how electricity works. We really don't know what gravity is. I came out of that course, the first year I taught it, really believing that I don't really know anything about physics because the people that teach physics don't know anything either. So I came to see that, we really don't know how things work on this world. That's
Correct.
That's what I came to see.
Correct. And the Michio Kaku says that in his field of astrophysics, that they're off to a power of 10 to the 120th, right? Power. And that nobody in his field actually uses the scientific method. They admit that they're pseudoscience, but people still swear by it because it's a cool story.
Because they're an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with the world. People are too lazy to do any of their own work to find out what they believe. They take what somebody else believes or some expert.
Well, and here's the thing. You have to operate that way somewhat because you can't check everything. Like, where do I live? Where do I live? Where do I live?
Connecticut.
Do you know it or do you believe it?
That's what you say, so I believe it.
You believe it. Is it a fact?
In your case, I'm sure that when you go back, when you're in Connecticut right now, so it is a fact, right?
Well, am I? Do you know that's where I am? Here's the thing. You have
you're in the basement with Obama.
Yeah. Well, so you don't know it. You believe it because we've had some communication. You've heard me talk. You're like, he's not lying about that. And I'm not. I am in Connecticut, but you don't know it until you do the research, right? You go on Facebook, see all my friends, see, oh, look, they're here. Oh, I found his high school. Yeah, he's in Connecticut. Okay. So that takes time and effort. Believing is the laziest thing ever. Jaron tells a story. He said, if you ever want to make $1 million, he goes, just develop something that makes people lazier. Okay. Because they love it. Like DoorDash makes people lazier. Right. And it's $1 billion company, whatever it is. So belief is the enemy of knowing, as Crow says. And I say ego is the protector of belief. But belief is easy. I tell you something, you go, okay. The teacher tells you something, you go like, okay, I memorized it. I can put it on the test. Great. Now I can go drink and watch a movie and play sports or whatever I want. But if you want to like, wait a minute, the teacher just told me that gravity works like this and they spun a bucket of water around. That doesn't, you'd have to actually think to unwind the crap that they're telling you. But nobody wants to do that. Everyone wants to get an A. It's not about getting it right. It's about getting an A. And what the textbook says, that's how you get an A. Memorize the garbage, regurgitate the crap, and you get an A. And then if you do it really good, no offense, you could become a teacher.
That's right.
And you could reteach the crap.
Yep. I got into a problem when I came back to teaching in 1990 it was. For something called outcome-based education that was being sold in the United States and in Canada. So I got into that and researched into it and found out. And then there's a guy named Gatto. He was Teacher of the Year. I don't know, it's GOTTO. Got into all of that and found out how bad education was and how education had been constructed based on the Prussian model, German model of how to teach. Get a kids in a room, sit in the chair, regurgitate, whatever. That was it.
Sit down and shut up and listen and memorize. It's not school.
I hadn't teach. I taught in 1963, and then I didn't teach. I was in IT and all that, and I was in the cult, and I was down there. Then I came back in 1990 and started teaching again. Then I started really understanding what teaching really was. That's kind of the story of my life. I have a motto. You want a motto?
Shoot.
You can add Felix, like the cat. This is a Latin motto. Felix qui potuit rerum cognoscere causas. Cognoscere means understand. Rerum is things. Happy is he who knows the causes of things. It was my high school motto in the 50s. It was my high school in the last high school I taught in 1992. So I came and I went, and I still believe that's my motto.
Was that your high school quote? Mine was, the leaves have fallen all around and it's time I was on my way, from Led Zeppelin. That's kind of set the stage for where you are now. Listen to this. Look at this. Knowing what you know now, it kind of, it isolates you, but it also connects you with other people. It's fascinating. Would you ever take the blue pill and go back into the matrix and be an ignorant, not knowing? This is such a great place that we're in right now. It's amazing. And everybody's doing their part to help wake up other people. I think that's God's work. If you want to, put a label on it, it's unplugging people from the matrix.
Absolutely. It is God. It's God working through human beings as he's always done.
Yeah, we're all part of this system. People don't understand that. And we have our future is our choice. The question is, will people make the choice, or will they allow someone to make it for them?
Let me ask you a personal question. You don't have to answer it. My belief, I'll give you mine first. I don't believe that Canada has a prayer to get out of the tyranny that we're in on its own. Our future here comes from you people in the United States. In fact, the world. The U.S. is the key. They want to destroy the U.S. If they destroy the U.S., they destroy the world. So I firmly believe that. I am still a Trump believer. I still believe he's going to come back. And I believe the election was fixed. And I believe he's going to come back. And I think he's the only individual in this world that has a prayer to do anything. He's known by everybody.
So
he's hated by a lot of people too.
I hear you. Let me give you my 2 cents on that.
Do. Please do.
Perhaps at one time, Trump was here for good, but they have some dirt on him, or they put him in a situation while he was president saying, your whole family's going to die, just stuff, just like you're not going to save the world. If you keep this up, you're all going to die and the world's just going to keep on going on. And maybe he got, he just succumbed to it. That's a possibility. But look at what he did.
Yeah.
Warp speed for this. Okay. And while the lockdowns were going on, he rolled 5G out across the country. Okay. This and 5G go together. Okay. So
you think he rolled out 5G?
He said they're warp speeding the this thing, and he said that they're rolling out the 5G program to get 5G across the country in a record amount of time, Trump style. Okay, in my town, we had 3 5G towers before CV hit. Okay, and there was a little triangle in one little village in my town, and inside that triangle, 3 kids got brain cancer and died. Okay, all right. So we're fighting this fight with the town, talking about, it's untested, and they're talking to the selectmen, all this stuff. Then the lockdown happens. And when the lockdown was over, there's over almost 100 towers in my town now. And they start at all the schools. Why are they putting 5G around all the schools? What is this? Okay.
I hear you.
And these systems need, 50 watts or 150 watts or 200 watts, whatever, but they're putting 50,000 watts into them. It sounds like a weapon system to me, but he rolled this out. This thing is not good. Now, you could flip it. I've heard people in the Trump camp say he had to do these things to expose, the plan or whatever. That would be great if it's true. I don't feel it in here. I don't know, maybe there are white hats working behind the scene. Maybe they're like, Trump, you got to do this. Maybe. I'm not there.
I hear you totally. If this is not the case, I think we're somewhat doomed.
I don't think so. I don't think that we need to wait for a Trump savior or something like that. I think that if people wake up, we can just take the power back ourselves. We don't need government. We don't need it at all. Private industry and people together make this world go round, right? Let's say the government dissolved. We woke up tomorrow and they're all just gone. They're just gone. They left for the outer lands, whatever. People would all group together and start making things work better than government ever would. Okay? Everything would work way, 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 way better. So
hear you. Yep.
I hear you. Canada is looking screwed up. How America if America falls, it's going to be worse, right? I see that America and the rest of the world is waking up. They need us to do their plan, but too many of us are waking up right now. Too many of us are unplugging from the matrix, and the matrix is just getting depowered. So they're scrambling. They're trying to, they tried the CV thing that went away. They tried the war that went away, and then they're like, Taiwan now, or whatever. All the shipping, the food shortages, they're trying everything. And if people just hold a positive attitude, don't wait for a savior, just disconnect from them and start working together. And I always say you have to unplug from their matrix and you have to get off their monopoly board. Okay. And how do you get off the monopoly board? Gold, silver, crypto, whatever it is, you got to stop playing with their money. Okay. People go to me, there's a lot of people, I don't know what your view on crypto is. There's some good crypto out there, and it is a better form of money. You can argue gold and silver are real money because they're physical, but try traveling with gold and silver. Try using it. I could send you money right now before I finish the sentence in crypto, and you'd have it instantaneously, and nobody would know about it. Okay, depending, if you're using a privacy coin. So people say, well, what are you going to buy with it? What if the dollar crashes? If the dollar crashes, crypto goes through the roof because the dollar crashed. Just in my town the other day, somebody's selling a $6 million house and they're taking Bitcoin. Okay, they're selling it. So you're not going to need to convert crypto into dollars. That's the worst thing to do. This person is smart. There's a couple of reasons why they might have done it, but they might have done it because they don't want to. They don't want to have dollars. They sell their house. They have dollars. The dollar crashes. They just lost everything. Right? They believe in crypto more than dollars, which makes a lot of sense right now. So, there are so many positive outcomes, but what they're trying to do is steer our minds with the news, Northeast, West, South news, and they're trying to keep us in fear, false evidence appearing real. They're trying to get us to create the negative outcome, but there's a positive outcome there. There's a positive outcome if we all just focus on it, and it could happen, not even tomorrow. It could happen today if everyone just woke up.
Yeah. And there's got to be somebody that's going to have some kind of a leadership position in all of this to make it happen.
There may be,
whether it's Trump.
There's lots of leaders, whether it's Trump or someone else. Trump kind of, I was on that Trump train for a long time, and he did the two worst things possible. So I'm off it. But you know what? Prove me wrong. Bring it. Prove me wrong.
I hear you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gary, we're going to wrap it up.
Thanks a lot, Dave. You've gone over time.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the conversation. Interesting talk.
Yeah, thank you for your part in it as well.
All right, man.
Which is all the part.
keep the positive outlook. Look for the positives, right? Look for the good things and focus energy there. Don't give the matrix energy.
Gotcha.
All right.
Where will you have if you keep a copy, where are you going to put this copy?
I'm going to put this on Flat Earth Dave Interviews. It'll be on the Facebook page. It'll be in the playlist on the app.
Is it going to be on Facebook? Because I refuse to be on Facebook.
It's going to be on YouTube. So okay. if you go to the web page,
I found it
right here.
I know you are.
Right here. These are all my interviews. It'll be at the top of that interview. It'll probably come out tomorrow.
Are all your interviews on there? Because there are the one with Dustin wasn't there. Was it there?
Is Dustin a video interview?
Yes.
It's there. I'm sure it's there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you should take a look at that one again because
what's the name of his channel?
He's Dustin Nemos, Nemos.
I remember the name. I have to look at the podcast and see his face to remember it.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. See you, Gary. Bye.